Alright, I think I'm live, everybody. Hey, if anybody's watching, go ahead and put a comment, any comment, and see if I can see it. That way I know we've got some connection here. I got a thumbs up. Put the baby over here for a minute. There, you can look at the baby. Oh, 3 people watching. All right. We're gonna start this here. One more second. Huh? That's all right. We have to start. Say hi to everybody. Hi. Here. Okay, everybody, welcome to class, Saturday morning Kettlebell Club. Starting only a few minutes late. Well, YouTube failed me. Facebook came through. What are we going to do? All right, I'm trying to get started here, but real quick, I'm going to work within a limited space today, so that it's going to be a little bit different. I won't be able to run around. And I'm also going to try to show you some modifications to work with whatever weights you might have around. All right, so usually we run around here, but what I'm going to do is start with some movement in place. All right, so we're going to balance on the left foot and start to kick the right leg like this. So we're going to try to be moving around in one place a little bit. I'm swinging my arms, just trying to be relaxed. And mostly this is going to challenge the foot that I'm balancing on. That's mostly where you're going to probably feel this. So you can count this as an activation for your standing leg and just a little bit of movement. For everything else, switching feet. When you base on your standing foot, you want to spread the toes wide and lift the toes a little bit. And we go back to this kick. If you're having trouble balancing doing this, which you probably should be or would be, try to fix your eyes on a spot in front of you, maybe a little bit up, and keep your eyes on that spot on the wall or something like that. That will make it easier to balance. And let me know if you're having any trouble hearing me during this. All right, so we're shaking out a little bit. Next movement we're going to do is with the knee. So the knee's going to come up and in, and then out and down. And then we'll switch feet. So again, the knee comes in, up, out, and down. And you kind of put this together And there's a little step to it. Just another good one to do where you have limited space and you want to move around. Of course, you all do whatever you want here. Jumping jacks, hip hop dancing, something. Nobody's watching you. So just get your heart rate up a little bit. Okay, shake it out. It's just a little swings, a little bit, swing here. And when you're doing this, focus on your abs. You keep your abs a little bit tight here. Knees should be soft. Slightly bent. Swinging back and forth. And we go. So swing the arms a little bit. Keep breathing. Go the other way. And now we're going to go back down to the hips. So this is more of a strict activation. I'm going to balance on my left foot. Again, lift and spread the toes. And get ready to balance here. And when I do, I'm going to take my right leg, I'll move it out to the side and hold it there. Then I want to play with the rotation a little bit. Really what I want to do here is get this rotated internally so that my big toe points down toward the floor, and then just hold that leg up and out and breathe. Again, for balance, fix your eye on the wall. Keep breathing. The foot that you're balancing on, try to keep the toes spread wide and real active with the ball of your foot. And shaking out. I'm going to square off to the camera here a little for this one. Now we're going to balance on the right foot, and we go out to the side. Anytime you're doing these balance drills, you want to keep track of this hip. You're standing, your base hip, so that you don't want that thing hanging way out there. You don't ever want to be balancing like that. You want to get some contraction here in that glute medius muscle on the side of your hip, that the hips push inward, so that they're more over your center of gravity there. And then again, that lifted foot, we internally rotate a little bit. You're going to feel that again in the glute medius on the other side. So this is similar to one of the moves we do, one of the activations we do laying on the floor, which I'll just show you guys in a second. And again, release, shake out. All right, so since I was mentioning that move, the move that we do here is this. And you're familiar with this if you take the class, Saturday morning class. So we have the leg lifted, the knee is bent about 90, the foot is flexed, and the leg is extended at the hip. So if you look at the line of my body here, we don't want the leg forward of the body. We want to extend it at the hip back. And you'll feel a big stretch through here. And then we want to internally rotate. The knee is down, the foot is up. And once you get all that, you should feel a pretty good burn here. You can pulse a little bit. And then we switch. So here's the setup again. My base leg I could bring forward a little bit, but my lifted leg, 90 degrees, and extend. Then rotate, knee down, foot up, and little pulses. Keep your abs active here. We don't want to arch in the low back. We don't want to go sway back here. We want to be mobile from the hip, not the low back. We don't want to go sway back. So get the abs strong. Keep the abs contracted here. Work from the hip. Okay, good. And just sit up. I'm moving a little bit here. Hips are getting warmed up. All right, we're going to move on to the abs before we do much else. So, I think I'm still good there, yeah? Okay, so this is the McGill modified curl, if you want to know exactly what it's called. All right, so we take one leg is stretched out, the other foot is up near the hip. And the most important part of this is what your low back does. Crunch your abs to press your entire lower spine into the mat. And you've got to maintain that contact there no matter what. Everything else is optional. If you just have to sit here and contract as hard as you can to keep that contact, do that. If you're good, you can get your hands behind your head and you can just lift your head barely so that your knuckles touch, just come off the floor. Crunching still. If you still got the contact with your low back, you now lift your outstretched leg. As long as you're able to maintain the low spine contact with the mat. And then to get the abs to really kick off, we use the exhale here. One more breath. There, release. And shake out. Not using an interval timer here. Well, some people like it. It does help me stay organized during classes, but I don't know if this is enough for me to keep track of. Teach a new camera. All right, here we go. Switch sides. Crunch the abs. Low back contact the mat. Press the low back down. Squeeze the abs down into you. Feel your rib cage at the solar plexus being pinned down toward the floor. We hover the head, and now we hover the leg if you can. Always prioritize the low back. And again, using the breath to activate the abs even more. One more breath. And release. And if you want to stretch your abs just for a second, you can kind of get like this. All right, we're going to move on to the bird dog. And hopefully you've got some burning in your abs. It's going to help you to feel your abs during the bird dog. So, I'm going to set up on the palms. If your palms here, you go index fingers forward. Let me see. There we go. I got my index fingers forward so that I get a little external rotation there. Shoulder blades are down toward the hips. The knees should be shoulder width, so a little wider than they might naturally be. All right, I could also do it on the fists, like that. All right, so crunch the abs, just like we were doing. This is the crunch. Imagine that floor is there at your low back. You need to round your low back a little bit here. And then we're gonna extend opposite arm and leg. Keep the crunch going here in your abs. Your eyes should be to the floor about a foot ahead of your hands. And we go. Reach from your fingertips to your heel, the back heel there. Reach the heel. One more here. And release. Shake out. I'll give you guys maybe a different angle. Just want to talk about the back leg for a second here as we set up. Again, the shoulder blades are down, right? So when I get the base shoulder blade, it has to stay down, right? The up shoulder reaches forward, but the base shoulder stays down. A little detail there. And now here we go for our second set. I'm gonna extend here. And what I want to show you is this back leg, right? We don't need it real high, right? We need long. Reach it back and lock the knee. That abs crunch. One more. Oh, we shake out. And if you're into the big three, these are the McGill big three. We know the side plank is next, but I like to do a little extra shoulder warm up for most people before you get into the side plank. Side plank can be hard on the shoulders. A lot of people find it hard on the shoulders, so don't be surprised if you're one of them. So, our main shoulder warm-up is going to be the bodyweight arm bar. So I'm on my side here. Yeah, you can see. I'm on my side, and I take this arm up, and then I just work the shoulder blade for a sec, toward the ear, down away from the ear. Do that a moment, and then I hold it down away from the ear as hard as I can. I want to feel these muscles under the arm, almost the armpit, the lats and stuff, all fire off hard. Shoulder blade down. Then I go, hold that position and go belly down. So now I'm forcing my body into a position where my arm wants to just fall to the floor. I'm really working from the shoulder blade to keep it back and reaching up toward the ceiling. Again, the shoulder blade, you want to stay tight in the abs so that we don't turn this into a spinal twist. I'm trying to get the shoulder blade to work, not the spine twist thing happening. So I keep the abs tight. And then you can breathe. You can even still use the forced exhale to activate your abs. You may find that forced exhale helps you to activate your shoulder blade. If you want to make this a little harder, you don't lift the opposite leg. There. You get the glutes activated there. We get a glute cross into the lats here. You can explore that a little. All right, and then roll out of that. You want to feel that back here and here a little bit. And we go moving the shoulder blade a little bit. Spread your fingers. Shoulder blade down. And we go belly down slowly until that point, again, where you feel like your arm is going to pitch forward. And use the shoulder blade to pull the arm back. Abs tight here. Again, you can lift opposite leg a little bit for glutes activation there. But just keep checking in with this. And breathe. Good, all right, we're done with our arm bars. We move on to an active stretch here now, called floor scorpion. We'll do it one side at a time. So we outstretch one arm, and we roll away from it. And then our bottom leg comes forward a little bit for sure. And then we're gonna take this up leg again, 90 degree. This is real similar to the hip activation we did before. But instead we go inhale, we reach our heel toward our hand. Exhale, back to neutral. Again, keeping the abs active. I want to create an upper body, a chest stretch here, not a spinal twist. Keep doing that at your own pace. What you'll see is that as I twist, my body weight of this lifted leg here forces a stretch and pressure into the shoulder and a stretch in the pecs. If I want to stretch the bicep over here, I roll the arm that way. Hopefully you can still see that. Yes. And we switch sides. Lifting the leg, bringing the base leg forward a little bit, and then the inhale. Let the shoulder be driven into the mat, stretching through here. Bicep stretch. All right, good. One more shoulder stretch here. We're gonna try to hit the lats. I'm gonna get into this wide angle. I'm gonna sit my butt back a little bit. And then I'm gonna try to tuck my head down between my arms. Bend the elbows, try to get your thumbs to the back of your neck. Now crunch, so that you dig your elbows into the mat and you start to pull your butt toward your heels. See if you can get the elbows to stick to whatever surface you're doing it on. And you will stretch through here. Move a little side to side. I said one more, but there's really one more too. The arm thread. I know you didn't want to miss that one. Same wide angle, sit back a little, and then we thread the arm. This arm is going to push down into the mat. Push. This arm reaches up. Rest the head. We want abs activation here. I want you to feel this in the shoulder blade. Keep sitting your butt toward your feet. Arms to each side. Pressing the arm into the mat. Reaching the other arm up. And get out of there. Now, if you're not ready for side plank, then that's still okay. We got variations here. The easy variation for side plank is to take the foot right behind the knee. You can get a lot of body weight into this leg from this position. This leg off of that glute will support you a lot. So this is your easier version of side plank. Your harder version is to take the top leg just forward and bridge like that. All right, let's count some breaths here. Crunch your abs, give yourself a poke, make sure those abs are doing something there. Shoulder blade is packed down towards your hips. You can get your hand here, you can reach it, get a nice little stretch. Probably the hardest is to put your hand on your hip. It just adds a few more pounds of weight onto your hip and makes it even harder. I'm still never sure what to do with my head in side plank. Just put it wherever it doesn't hurt your neck. And release. And shake out. And switch sides here. So base shoulder blade, lock it down, and we go for the foot either behind the knee or out in front. And crunch the abs and get your arms set in whatever position. Look down your body. You want to see everything in one line. You don't want your hips back behind you in this, so you want to squeeze your glutes. Squeeze your glutes and push your hips forward into line with the rest of your body. One more breath. And release. All right, all right. Moving on now. Let's do some hinges, kneeling hinges. Knees apart, about shoulder width. Feet or big toes touching. And fingers interlaced behind the head. Inhale, sit the butt back. Your eyes are now to the floor in front of you a few feet. Exhale, hips forward. This is your basic hinge pattern. And we're staying heavy in the knees here. and keeping the tops of the feet lightly on the floor. This is going to focus the work into your hips. I'm inhaling as my hips go back, exhaling as my hips come forward. Keeping my abs real tight, especially right here in the bottom of the movement. The abs have to be tight as you can get them. Another thing I'm doing is right here, I go to spread the floor. I push my knees outward against the mat, and that brings my hips forward. Spreading the floor. All right, and now I'll pivot this right leg so the foot comes to my knee, and we continue on. Careful with your range of motion here. If you feel this too much in your hip, just small range of motion, small. If you feel good, use bigger range of motion. As you do a set, so you do a set of 10, maybe your first few reps, very small range of motion. Maybe by the time you get to 5, you're sitting down a little better. And by the time you get to the end of the set, you might have a better range of motion. Still spread the floor. And then we switch off the legs. Before we do anything else, we gotta do bridge with reach. Bridge with reach, and not the jiu-jitsu bridge, and this exercise bridge, we're going feet out away from us and away from each other, and toes point in almost a little bit. They don't feel like they're in, but it just means your feet are straight. All right, then crunch the abs, low back to the floor, then bridge. Keep this pelvic tilt. We don't want to arch the back. We want the pelvic tilt, pubic bone towards your face. Then press one arm, inhale, roll, watch your hand touch the floor, palm down, and then exhale, back. Keep the hips up. Try to keep your toes spread, maybe lift it. Inhale, watch your hand touch the floor, exhale, and at your own pace. Sometimes I do this one really slowly and just really focus on the range of movement. Sometimes I just do it faster. It's up to you, but synchronize your breath, keep your abs tight, keep the pelvis tucked, keep your eyes on your hand. Use the back of your head, press the back of your head gently against the mat. If you want to use this to strengthen your neck more, you can kind of get less out of your arms and a little more out of your head. Try to keep your knees open though. Keep this tilt, and that's good. Shake out a little bit. Oh yeah. So, we skipped some of our usual foot stuff, foot activation. Some of our funny walks. Don't forget them. Heel walk to activate the anterior compartment here. Blade walk on the outsides of your feet. Again, activating anterior, also getting a little stretch on the outside of your calves. Another way to get a stretch on the outside of the calves, an active stretch here, is to come out wide and then go toes in, heels out. Put your hands down, bend your knees, and then just go side to side. So it's all about the foot angle here, and I'm trying to lift and spread my toes. I'm just moving side to side here and breathing. This should not feel like a big stretch. Don't make it a big stretch. Use the movement to slowly loosen things up. More angle if you want more stretch. More width if you want more stretch. But keep the movement going. All right, that's that. So let's move on now to get-ups. Now, your get-ups is going to depend what you have around, right? As far as how you do them. This is where I transition a little bit into, okay, what do you do if you have one kettlebell? All right, so if you actually have a kettlebell, that's great. So if you have a light-ish kettlebell, then you're going to have a much easier time doing these get-ups. We're going to work on this first sequence, which is from here to here. All right, and then we're going to rep this by laying back on the inhale. And then we go again. So that's the move. If you want to start repping that, you can. Some details are I load the foot high up outside my hip. All right, and then I get some width here out too. And then I'm rotating and bringing my body up. This entire move starts and ends at the hip. The hip has to rotate to drive you up. So that's if you have something you can use. You could use a dumbbell, obviously the same way. All right, you can use all sorts of things. Where it gets tricky is if you only have something that's quite heavy, in which case that's good, but you have to modify. So keep repping your move if you're doing it. If you're just watching and the instructional element of this, that's fine too. I'm going to show you what you do if you only have one big kettlebell that's hard for you to work with, hard for you to even hold overhead. And that's to do the first part of the Turkish get-up, which is a kettlebell almost to your knee, then hand in there, elbows in tight, right? I'm sticking my upper arm to my sides. I'm going to use this top leg to rotate me. So kick the top leg back, I'm going to rotate. But I'm going to keep everything tight, and that's where I end up. So if you have a real heavy kettlebell, just go to here, and then go back to the floor. This is your move. And we just hold it there for a moment, stabilize. And we go back to the floor. So this is how you can get started with a big kettlebell, is that very first part of the Turkish get-up, which is just getting the bell off the floor and over your shoulder. If you have lighter things, you can just rep it out, as I showed you. If you have nothing, you can still do it. Just so by now, if you've been following along, hopefully you switch sides and have done some reps on the other side. Of course, we usually do these with a medicine ball because we're out here working on the jiu-jitsu mat, which we don't want to put hard, heavy things on. So this is the same thing with the medicine ball. And we'll rep that out. And so on, and so on, till you get done with your set. So, now, assuming you finished both sides set of either the mount from the floor or from here to here. Hopefully you've gone each side of that at least by now. Then let's move on to the bridge part of the get-up. The bridge. So I'm going to demonstrate this with no weight, and if you're still new to this movement, you're probably better off doing it with no weight. All right, so it starts here, what we just did. Then we slap the hand, push up, then we move the arm behind us, and the fingertips point straight back behind us. All right, so right now I'm basing on my right hand, And then I'm going to space out my left leg. Or let's call this the onside leg, because the weight is here. We had a weight. This is our onside. So we space this out a little so that we can point that knee straight up. Now our base shoulder is down. Take a big breath, and we bridge up high. You note my offside foot, or my base foot, is totally sideways on the floor. Can you see that? No. Now you can see it. There. See? So that's the exhale. So the inhale, I'm going to sit my butt toward the foot, toward my heel. So if you want to just rep this 10 times, focus on the glutes, squeeze the glutes, get your hips as high as you can. On your base hand, keep the fingers spread. Make sure the fingers are pointing back behind you, not out to the side. All right, now to come down off of that, we sit. Then we go roll to your side and get to your forearm. All right, and then we can slide the forearm out, or we can lay back. And we go to the and then we switch side. So get to the forearm. Put the hand down, press up, move the arm back behind you. Space out your onside foot a little bit. The base foot lays down to the side. Take a big breath. Bridge up high as you can. Squeeze your glutes. Inhale, sit your hips towards your foot. And then and then we sit to the floor. All right. So one more thing here, and then we're going to move on to the kettlebell swings. We just take this little sequence a little bit further. Practice one more little bit of it. So from here to here, the hand up, the hand behind you, space out. Take a big breath. And we're bridged up. Now from here we sweep the foot. We'll move a little so you can see. I'm going to sweep the foot right by the other foot. That's how we do make a big arc. A big arc with that foot. And we do make the arc, and then we put the knee down and we come upright. This prepares us for the final step, which is a lunge up. Take a breath, and we. All right, now we step back, knee down, pivot, hip out, hand down, space out, sweep the foot back through. All right, sit. So we're just going to do a little part of that a few times. From here, take a big breath in, bridge up, sweep the foot. Put the knee down, come upright. Now instead of standing, we're just going to pivot, hand down, sweep the foot back through, and sit. Take a big breath, bridge up high, sweep the foot through, place the knee. The knee goes a little closer to my hand than to my foot. There's more space here, less space here. That ends up my knee right below my shoulders. That's where we want to be here. One more time. Now we'll switch sides. So you'll see when I'm doing all this stuff is I'm constantly moving my feet a little bit to get the spacing right. It's all about spacing here, not getting too jammed up, You have to give yourself enough space. So here we go. So right here, like I'm too crowded right here. I gotta move that out a little bit. It makes a big difference. Deep breath in, bridge up high, and then we sweep the foot past the other foot. It just grazes the other foot, but then it keeps coming, and then there's the knee down right under the weight or your hand or whatever. Come up, and this is where you straighten out your lunge. So I can either pivot, and now I'm nice and lined up in one plane, or I could actually move the foot and end up in one plane. Probably easier to just pivot. All right. So from here, we have to pivot back, hip out, hand down, near the knee. Don't lean way back here. This is crazy, especially if you do this with a weight. That won't be good. So just put your hand down near, space out a little, sweep through, sit to here, or to here, stay here. A couple more times. Deep breath in, sweep the foot, place the knee, fix up your lunge, then pivot back out, hip out, hand down, space out, sweep the foot, sit. Sweep the foot, place the knee, narrow up, pivot, hip out, hand down, sweep through. Okay, good, everybody. Learning the Turkish get-up, it's a long process, but if you get the details right, it really becomes much more graceful, and you can lift a lot more weight in the end. Getting those details right. Okay, here we are now onto the kettlebell swinging part of the class. What are we going to do? I better use a timer for this one. Usually I just, watch people, and when everybody starts to look like they're dying. Alright, so we're going to do a minute. A minute's a long time to swing a kettlebell, if you haven't already discovered that. So you're going to feel free to quit early. All right. So we're going to start off. Come on. Start off with a set of RDLs. Ready? So we get our kettlebell. Again, never pick up your kettlebell casually. Squat your kettlebell up. Stand over your kettlebell. Make your back flat. Pack your shoulders down. Take a big breath. And then stand up. Get in a good habit of lifting kettlebells so that you don't accidentally injure your back someday just picking up a kettlebell before you even use it. So, for the RDL, we square the feet. Start here. Right? We engage with the handle like I'm trying to pull the handle apart. That's going to activate my middle back and fix my posture up there. All right, now I'm going to check my feet. I don't want to be toed out like a squat. I want my toes pointing straight forward. My feet are parallel. Feet are about shoulder width, maybe a little wider than shoulder width. Okay? Inhale, sit my butt back. Exhale, like that. Let's do a minute of that. Abs are tight. My chin stays tucked. As I sit back, my eyes shift to the floor. As I stand up, my eyes shift straight ahead. That helps me keep my chin tucked. Helps me keep a neutral spine all the way up through the neck. I also want to open my knees a little as I sit back so that my knees stay over my feet. Don't let your knees cave in. Keep the knees over the feet. And to come up, I spread the floor. I'm pushing my feet away from each other to come up. Spread the floor. Also keep the bell under me. Don't let the bell out here. You want the bell always here. Now we shake out. So that's our first set. We always just have everybody do the Romanian deadlift. That's the basic hinge movement. Get the hinge pattern right. Now, depending on where you are on your learning curve for the kettlebell swing, you're just going to continue and do a bunch of sets of RDLs like that, or you're going to move on to what's called a Russian swing, which is just your two-handed kettlebell swing, which is the exact same motion as we were doing, but there's momentum. It's a ballistic, where the kettlebell is accelerating and all that stuff. So that's obviously got its own thing. So you choose. One alternative is to do the towel drill. If you're working on your kettlebell form, you can always use the towel to help you get your swing right. I don't have a towel. I'm just using my hat for a second. What you would do is take the towel, and pass it through there, and then grab the towel. And then when you swing, this is going to make you swing properly. Just relying on momentum, because you can't control the bell with your grip there. By the way, that's a good hat, Columbia. What the heck? Here we go. Set of Russian swings, chest height if you're swinging, RDLs if you're not swinging, or maybe towel drill. And we go. Keep those eyes on the floor. Keep pulling outward on the handle. Abs are tight. Open the knees and then spread the floor. Open the knees on the backswing. Spread the floor to pop your hips. You guys, it's a lot easier teaching this class when I can walk around and instruct people instead of doing every interval. And if you're doing RDLs, you're probably fine by now. If you were doing swings, you're probably not fine yet. So that's our basic Russian swing. Usually we do then one more set of Russian swings. Next, we'll go find some chalk. Okay, I've got some liquid chalk here. This stuff is awesome. You know, if you're somewhere that doesn't like chalk, it still makes a tiny mess. But. All right, so this next set, more range of motion. Whether you're doing the RDL or the swings, more range of motion. More backswing. See? If I'm doing the RDLs, I'm doing more range of motion. Sitting my butt back further. So instead of here, I'm going all the way to getting a little more stretch in my hamstrings. Same thing with the swing. Instead of here, I'm going deeper. This is the one time you guys get to see me suffer. I always get to see you suffer. So, coronavirus. All right, so getting ready to move on here. But again, what we typically do is move on to single arm swings. So your single arm swing, you've got to rotate hard. All right, you know, switch when you want, hand off, or do a few on one side, hand off. If you're not swinging, right, then you're going to do a deadlift from here. Like that. All right? And do it like that. If you've only got dumbbells, right, your RDLs, I should have showed you this before, your RDLs should look like that. Right? Your singles will probably won't get that all the way down to the ground because look, it doesn't have all that to it. So, like that, your singles. Let's try this. Okay, here's our set of singles. And we go. And as I said, singles, big time. Hi, Jan. I see you comment. I will eventually put this, well, later today, I'll get it on YouTube, because that's a better place for it to live. I don't know, YouTube's got some weird thing with mobile streaming. I guess probably I didn't pay them something that they wanted for that. But I guess it'll just be on Facebook and YouTube. If you hadn't checked out my YouTube channel already, I got lots of these moves that we do already, instructional videos for. All right, so now we're getting ready to do a set of cleans in one hand, cleans. All right, again, now, if you're not swinging the single, stick with another set of your single deadlift. All right, the clean is just single arm swing. You jerk the elbow back, just like a swing, but you jerk the elbow back and catch the bell here. And this is what it looks like, clean, and then I'll switch, clean. So everybody going now. Again, watch where I'm catching it. In here, on my chest, not out. Don't catch it out there. Catch it against your bicep and your chest, not your collarbone or anything else. And the more you practice this one, obviously it gets a lot easier because it's just about getting the bell to travel in a path that you want it to travel in so that it lands where you want it to land. All right. Shaking out. Good job, everybody. Now, how we doing? We're almost done. Almost done. Okay, so we're gonna do a set of single side squats. That's my rest minute. So for the swingers, it's a clean a squat, a handoff, a clean, a squat. All right. Now, if you're a deadlifter and you're not swinging, let's think about this. You probably should just get your weight up somehow. You're just going to do the squats part of this, all right? So you've got your dumbbell here. Maybe you've got this kettlebell, but you don't know how to single arm swing it. It's all right, just lift it up, get into this thing we call rack position, and this is your squat. And so you might do 30 seconds. Oh, come on. You might do 30 seconds on one side, switch sides, your squats and the other side. That's what we're going to do. But I'll do it with the clean. Okay, ready? And go. So I clean, squat, I clean, hand off. Here we go, squatting. And like I said, if you're just doing the squat, do 30 seconds on one side, switch off. And there's our 30 seconds right here. So now would be the time to change. You did it! I did it! Oh my goodness. Thanks everybody for tuning in. And lift your toes, squeeze your glutes. Love you all, bye.
Wash your hands.
Wash your hands.